Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Right, collection update time. Let's go. It's been a while since I made the last one of these. You know, it's funny, I feel like I have been good, but I really haven't, okay? I've, next to the games that I've, got here to show you today, I've been buying a lot of, digital impulses as well. Plus, I must say, expect this weekend coming up another collection update because Play Expo is happening here in Glasgow and I'm going to be there. I fucking love Play Expo, like all the arcade machines that you get to play and all the stalls, like the retro games that you can buy. It's my jam, it's absolutely my jam. So I'm going to be there, cannot wait, and I will no doubt spend more money than I should on video games. So we'll see. But regardless, let's get into these ones right here. Now, right, do you guys remember in my last collection update, I sort of clearly went through a bit of a Virtua Fighter phase, you know, which I was very pleased to go through because, again, it's a series, very strong ties to Shenmue and Sega, but it wasn't a game that I really knew that much about. Well, the phase has kind of died, it has, you know, but I'm glad to say that it did happen and I feel more clued up about Virtua Fighter than I ever was, you know, especially now more than ever, I'm really craving the Virtua Fighter 6, okay? But, one, last game that existed that I had to pick up was this. This is Virtua Quest. Now, I'm not incredibly sure what this game even is, okay? I know that it has Virtua Fighter characters involved. It's made by AM2, and I believe some other developer as well. And it basically was the kind of concept of a Virtua Fighter RPG which eventually led into Shenmue. You know, this is basically what that concept ended up being. So in a weird way, this is kind of like a sister project to Shenmue, which is really weird. Didn't get very good reviews, definitely not, but I don't know, I couldn't get that idea out of my head and I just thought, I need to own this. I haven't played it yet. I probably will at some point, just so I can have an opinion on it. But yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. But Virtua Fighter 6. Virtua Fighter 6, that's what I'm really waiting on. Okay, right. Now, here we go. Recently, guys, I don't know if any of you was following me on Twitter around Christmas time this year, but I basically replayed all of the original Phantasy Star games. Phantasy Star, the original, came out for the Switch, you know, the Sega Ages version. Played through that. I played it on the OG version, not the Sega Ages version, which is way easier and quicker. I probably should have, but I didn't. And for the first time I played Phantasy Star 2, and I beat Phantasy Star 4 again, one of my all-time favourites. I tried to beat Phantasy Star 3, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. But you want to know what game that I've owned for ages, but I'm only just playing right now? Phantasy Star Online Episode 2. Okay, it's through in the other room than now. I'm currently playing through it. I played through Phantasy Star Online on my Dreamcast. I will always say, still to this day, that is a game that has always impressed the fuck out of me because I figured there was no way you could like that game unless you were playing it online. I was wrong. It's a total grind fest, but if you can get past that, it's a fun time had. And I'm playing Episode 2 for the first time on the GameCube, and I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. And I looked up this, and for some reason I didn't think this was actually released in Europe. I thought it was America, Japan only, but no, it was released in Europe. Phantasy Star Online Episode 3. Now, I don't think I'll ever play this because it is a card game. Well, I say that, I'll probably pop it in just to see, but I highly doubt I'll get into it as much as I did Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2. But yeah, I had to have it. I had to have this one, so that's really cool. But sort of expanding on the Phantasy Star craze, a game that I also picked up was, Phantasy Star Universe. Now, this is the 360 version. I already owned this. I had it, and I played it years ago, back when I first discovered Phantasy Star and fell in love with the series. And I do like this game. I never played it online, just like Phantasy Star Online, but it's a good game. I picked up the PS2 version of this game, which I've never played. It's only been a 360 because I wanted to play this. Phantasy Star Universe Ambition of the Illuminous. This was like the expansion, I guess technically episode 2 of Phantasy Star Universe. And it was really weird because this Ambition of the Illuminous was an update that you could receive with this Xbox version. You could download this update, but you couldn't access the single player content of it unless you went online. It was really weird. And after doing a bit of research, because I was always very curious about it, I found out that on the PS2, you can play the single player content. So yeah, I want to get through this because again, Phantasy Star Universe, it's definitely underrated. A lot of fans do not like it, and I agree, there are definitely flaws with the game, but I still really enjoyed it. And, you know, I enjoyed the Phantasy Star portable games that followed up from this in the PSP as well. So yeah, I'm excited to like play this again as well. I'm still playing Phantasy Star Online, but I'll get around to that as well. And if you thought the Sega bias was gonna stop there, you're out of your mind. Next up, I have I was actually looking at my Dreamcast games, right? And I sort of thought of this game, and I honestly keep forgetting that this game fucking exists. Crazy Taxi 3. A lot of people don't even know that there was a Crazy Taxi 2 on the Dreamcast. Excellent game, by the way. The only real big innovation that they had was that they added a jump button. You could press the Y button and your taxi would jump. Made things a lot more fun, it really did. But yeah, I actually remember playing this at a kiosk in like an electronic boutiques or something years and years and years ago, because I was like, oh fuck, Crazy Taxi 3? Really? And I didn't play much of it, and I remember at the time being amazed that you could like jump in your car, because the jump button translates over to this. I hadn't played Crazy Taxi 2 up until that point. But yeah, Crazy Taxi 3, I've got it now. Yeah, it exists. I got no other opinion on it, but yeah, there you go. Someone was clearly like very keen to play it though, because there's a bit of plastic chipped off right here just as you go to open the game. Oh fuck. So yeah, it must be good, I guess. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Right, next up we have Persona Q2. What's the subtitle? New Cinema Labyrinth. Now, I'm probably not going to play this, but I actually, if you guys give a fuck about like game collecting or whatever, I highly, highly recommend you pick this up, because chances are this is the last 3DS game. Okay, Nintendo, they've been supporting the 3DS for the past like couple of years since the Switch was out, but we've not had anything like big. They've been like ports of other games. They've been slowly pushing out the 3DS. It's had a fantastic life, probably my favourite Nintendo handheld up until this point. But then Atlas came out with this. It's just like, no, this is coming out, we're doing this. And yeah, I don't think there's correct me if I'm wrong, is there any other big 3DS games coming out that aren't like ports and whatnot? That, you know, like Kirby's Epic Yarn or Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga? Anything that's an actual original game like this? I'd be very curious to know, because otherwise I think this is it. And it's honestly really fascinating to me anyway to just own this game, just for that reason, because it marks like the sort of end of the 3DS life cycle. So, I don't know, maybe I'll pop it in. No immediate plans, but yeah, Persona Q2, really cool, really cool. Okay, now, I was in the sex shop during the weekend there. Some people call it CEX, some people call it sex. Me and my friends, we call it the sex shop, because, you know, that's mature. And the sex shop have this, like, really... They always have, like, retro games and stuff behind the glass. And they're usually quite a shite selection, and more importantly, they usually overprice it to fuck. Okay? But I saw this game, and I'm just like, that's quite cheap, isn't it? I took a quick look on eBay. It was going for about the same price. And I asked one of the people behind the glass, can I have a look at that? And he brought it round, and I had a look, and the manual was there in crisp condition. And do you know how it's like getting so frustrating? It's been like this for a few years. It's getting so frustrating to buy Mega Drive games with the manual included, because they bump up the price of the game considerably. And the game I got right here was Ghosts and Goblins. Now, it's funny. I don't even like this game. I don't like Ghouls and Ghosts for the NES. And from what I remember, it's been a long time, I do not like Super Ghouls and Ghosts for the Super Nintendo. But I figured at the price that they were asking for it, I thought, sod it, let's just go for it. And this is actually going to be one of the games that will be included on the Mega Drive Mini. So I knew I would have been tempted to pick it up at some point. And it's funny, I actually played this a little bit at the weekend. I was mucking about on it. And I got surprisingly into it. I got up to like World 5 or something, but then I got to this boss. I think I had like a shite weapon at the time and I couldn't beat it. And I was playing on practice mode, you know, pussy mode, technically. But yeah, I was sort of digging it. I think when I get the Mega Drive Mini, I'm going to give this another proper try. But yeah, there it is there. It's pretty cool. It's alright. Okay. Now, here I was, this was me being a very naughty boy. Okay, me being real bad. Because this is like another one of those like rare Saturn games, you know? And it's actually a game that I've had my eye on for like 10 years or something. I remember back when Screw Attack... Do you remember the Video Game Vault? I remember loving the Video Game Vault, finding out about random games and stuff. They did a Video Game Vault on this game, and it's kind of been in the back of my mind ever since to pick up for the Sega Saturn. But it was a very pricey one. Well, not very pricey, but pricier than you'd want to pay. So I always kind of like left it, but recently I was kind of just... fuck it. And I'm glad I did. Mr. Bones. The case isn't in the best condition, but... the 2 discs and the manual are, by the way, see if you're selling UK Sega Saturn games, people, okay? Earlier Sega Saturn games came in these really shit sort of like flap, not like really shit cases, basically. Hold on, a more modern one would be like this, where it's got like, it's actually sealed, the disc actually stays in, whereas with these like, the earlier ones, they were just shit. If you're selling these games, put bubble wrap in the game, okay? Makes a world of difference. Always put bubble wrap in these shitty old Sega Saturn cases. What is it with Sega? They really sucked with cases after the Mega Drive. It's crazy, but this is a really good game. I played through it in a day. It's not the longest game, but to me, this actually feels like the Saturn's answer to Abe's Odyssey, where it's a really, like, actually quite dark premise. You know, you play as a skeleton risen by, like, I guess the devil or something to do bad things and overthrow good and stuff. But it's also got, like, a really goofy sense of humor because Mr. Bones here is actually, like, a pretty cool guy. He's special, he's not evil, and he, like, fights back through the power of music, playing guitar and all that, and it's a good time had. I really enjoyed this. Frustrating at times, some of the controls aren't that good, but overall, yeah, this is a good game. Really, really enjoyed this one. But shame, again, it's pricey, which is annoying. But yeah, Mr. Bones for the Sega Saturn. Big thumbs up for me. Okay, now next up, this was definitely something I bought when I was drunk, okay? Because it's not something that I'm really that fussed about. But I know why I bought it. I know exactly why I bought it. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. Now, the reason I bought this game, I don't care much for Gran Turismo, just be honest. But back in like the early days of the PS2, after the Dreamcast had died, I was like so into like that console, you know, that was like, the Dreamcast died, I was like, I felt so abandoned. The PS2 offered me warmth, and I was always keeping track of releases. I was always keeping track of like games in the shops wherever I would go, and you would always see this game. And it's gotten to the point that even though I don't think I've actually held a controller while playing this game ever in my life, this cover is actually super nostalgic because I used to just see it everywhere. Plus, the game is really cheap, so I was just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna get this. There's just something about this red cover with the like headlight is just like it's something I hold near and dear. It's very nostalgic. I'm also very used to seeing like the platinum version of this because there was loads of platinum copies of this game in the wild. But yeah, that's weird reasoning for sure, but I dig that. I dig that. And my last game here is Team Sonic Racing. I already did a review / thoughts on the game, and my thoughts are pretty much the same. Really good game. but it needs some DLC, you know, it needs some more content to beef it up a little bit, otherwise it's just a decent Sonic racing game that's also a budget title. So, yeah. Good job, Sega, Sumo Digital, just give us more. Alright, and that's that. Like I said, stay tuned for the weekend where I'm going to do my Play Expo haul of games. To be fair, I don't even know. I might not buy anything. I might have restraint. Or there might not be anything I even want to buy. Who knows? I'm just expecting to go in there and be like, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that. And because I have no self-restraint, I'll just come back with shitloads of games. But we'll see, I suppose. We'll see, I suppose. So, yeah. That's that, guys. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.